Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 30 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human body is a healing system. It's a divinely designed system. It's a regenerating system. It's a renewing system. And it does its work on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we are here for you. We welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side. If you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. If you have questions about formulations, ingredients, the longevity products, or skin health questions, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have a success story, we love hearing those, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. And, of course, if you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, or if you want to join the Bright Side Ben team, you can head over to my websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you're interested in purchasing any of our Truth Skin Health products, including our Retinol 5% Gel, Truth Serum, Truth Balm, Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream, made with 100% active and functional ingredients, no fillers, no water, no silicone, no oil, no preservatives, no fragrances, no nothing, but active and functional ingredients that your skin can use. And most folks will notice results within 1 or 2 doses, particularly with our Truth Serum. You can find out all about it at truthtreatments.com. All right. Welcome back to The Bright Side. I want to say a few more things about the healing process, the generic nature of the healing process, the idea that all chronic illnesses are the result of inflammation and immunity, generic kinds of things, generic biochemistry. I want to say a few more things about that, and then we'll get into some supplements and continue talking about our youth and fertility hormones. But the main point I want to make here is that the body has a generic way that it heals, and it has a generic way that it breaks down. All breakdown, all disease is the result of long-term activation of the defensive response. That is the most powerful idea that I can tell you about when it comes to healing. All our health challenges are the result of long-term activation of the body's survival nervous system, which tells you something very important. Aside from the fact that it means that we have some control over this, what it says is that our diseases, dis-ease, out of ease, our dis-eases, are in essence a protective response, a defensive response. The body is freaked out. The body's trying to survive, which tells you that to reverse this condition, to reverse disease, the first step is going to be to calm things down, to have the defensive nervous system stand down, to activate the relaxation nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. And even if we're not overly degenerated, even if we don't have like a diagnosis of some kind, even if we don't have a diagnosis of a disease, even if we're relatively healthy compared to our friends and our family, we're still running on survival energy. The vast majority of us are running on sympathetic nervous system energy, even if we're not sick. Cortisol energy, sugar energy, coffee energy, Mountain Dew energy, caffeine energy. We're running on this type of energy just to get through our day. Caffeine mimics the stress nervous system, or the neurochemistry of the stress nervous system. Sugar does much the same. Even if we're not obviously ill, but we're drinking 3 or 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, we're burning out. And it's only a matter of time before we do begin to break down. This type of Sympathetic energy, sympathetic adrenal gland energy cannot help but accelerate the aging and disease process, even if we're healthy. We're heading in the aging and disease direction. We're heading in the breakdown direction, in the catabolic direction, the wrong direction. But the good news is we can reverse this. Just like we break down when we run on sympathetic energy, when we run on survival energy, whether it's caffeine-based or because we're sick, or if it's emotional stresses, the good news is that we can reverse that. Cortisol energy, stress energy, sympathetic energy, they're going to age us and they're going to lead to disease. But on the other hand, we can slow this thing down. We can slow down aging. We can increase longevity. We can reverse disease. Yes, we can reverse chronic degenerative disease. Chronic degenerative disease is reversible. It's preventable by calming things down, by relaxing, by deep breathing, and all the other strategies we talk about on the bright side. We can use all of these things to ignite the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation nervous system. And all of this is to say that a lot of our illness is the result of non-physical causes. We activate our survival nervous system not only for physical reasons, but for mental and emotional reasons. In fact, I would say the vast majority of our illnesses have at least a component, a strictly mental and emotional component. Of course, foods and sugar and nutritional deficiencies and hypoxia or lack of oxygen are all very important. But even when it comes to food, which is maybe the most significant physiologic way that we age ourselves, eating and sugar, food behavior, but even our drives to eat and ingest sugar are rooted in emotional and mental causes. From a purely physical perspective, we don't need a lot of food, and we need very little sugar. So most of our eating behavior is driven for mental and emotional reasons. It's driven from mental and emotional causes. And because most of our suffering comes from eating, physical suffering comes from food, most of our suffering is driven physiologically as well as psychically from mental and emotional causes. We've created this world of comfort. This is so ironic. We've created this world of comfort that has resulted in mental and emotional suffering. Yes, it's true that we have lots of creature comforts in our culture, but for some reason, all of these creature comforts have resulted in mental and emotional suffering. There's a really cool book called Your Survival Instinct is Killing You by a guy named Mark Schoen. He's a professor at the UCLA School of Medicine. Super cool book, really easy to read, and it explains a lot of what we talk about on this program, by the way. Your Survival Instinct is Killing You. So Professor Schoen is from the UCLA School of Medicine. He describes something called the cozy paradox. And this is the idea that we're not comfortable in a world that is, as he says, increasingly designed for comfort. The cozy paradox is what Professor Schoen has labeled this thing. It's based on our discomfort being caused by an expectation of coziness. We don't like being disturbed. We like to know what's coming. We don't like surprises. We like control. Suffering, according to Dr. Schoen, has a component of the sense of being out of control. But on the other hand, it's also hardwired into us to be this way. It's hardwired into our brain. We are the descendants of ancestors who survived the African savannah and all the angst of being eaten by a tiger or a lion or starvation. We survived by being able to turn on, by being able to activate our neurology. We figured out how to address lack of control by kicking in with stress hormones, which allowed us to run or allowed us to forage for food. We developed this neurological survival instinct that turned on our brain chemistry to get us out of life or death situations. But the problem is, because we've got this incredibly well-developed prefrontal cortex, intellect, and an ability to imagine and predict, we make things up. And it's even worse because we've created a culture that needs us to make things up, to be freaked out, to be in survival mode, to activate our disease-inducing sympathetic nervous system. All right, we'll finish up when we come back. Okay, we are back on the bright side. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com, also benfuchsarchives.com, and we also blog at criticalhealthnews.com and pharmacistben.com. You can purchase longevity products off the websites, or you can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. If you're interested in checking out our Truth Skin Health products, head over to truthtreatments.com and make sure you take a specially long look at our retinol 5% gel if you're dealing with acne, blemishes, hyperpigmentation, dark spots, or if you're just interested in getting a little skin peel. Your skin will definitely flake with the retinol 5% gel. If you want to help stimulate the production of collagen, if you're dealing with fine lines and wrinkles, retinol 5% gel. There's also a whole bunch of vitamin C in there. No preservatives, no fragrances, no oil, no silicone, no water, no nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want or doesn't use. Every molecule in our Truth Treatment products is used by the skin. No waxes, no fillers, no nothing to make a product. It's all there for you. Truth Skin Health products, truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, so there's so many great non-medical ways, even non-nutritional ways, really, to deal with the dis-ease process, the lack of ease. That's what dis-ease is. It's a lack of ease, or a dysfunctional type of ease. Dr. Schoen calls it Dr. Mark Schoen, from writing the book, Your Survival Instinct is Killing You, he calls it the cozy paradox. We've created a culture of ease, and we're filled with dis-ease. And even worse, we've got this corporate political system that derives its power by keeping us in fear mode. It wants us scared. If you feel scared after you hear the news or listen to a radio show or read the newspaper or an article or an internet post or whatever, if you feel scared, you haven't done yourself any good, especially if you're sick. Turn off crap that makes you feel scared, that puts you into fear mode. It doesn't do you any good. Why do we need to know that a bridge crashed in Malaysia somewhere, or that there's some case of food poisoning in some city halfway across the country? I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but do we need to know all that stuff? What's the purpose of keeping us in this mode of the world is falling apart? The system needs us to feel this way. It's a parasite. It lives by sucking our energy. It derives its life force by stealing ours. It needs us to be scared. It's a virus. It could care less about us as individuals, just like a virus could care less about you as an individual. This is a mental virus, an emotional virus, a meme, a mind virus that's designed to keep us in sympathetic overdrive, and then purports to heal us by going to the doctor. How they create the dis-ease and they sell us the cure. It's a scam of biblical proportions, folks. But the good news is, the bright side is, we can hack into our survival chemistry. Just listening to this program, if you take it seriously and take these ideas seriously, you've begun to hack into your chemistry, hacking into your brain neurology. Just like we can activate the sympathetic survival system with our imagination, as well as our lifestyle choices and the foods we eat, and the exercise we do and the supplements we take, we can likewise trick or hack into the brain. We can hack into the parasympathetic nervous system, and we can tell the brain everything's all right in the world. There's lots of ways to do that. That's really what this is about. That's everything we've been talking about now for the last, probably since I started doing this program. It's about hacking into the parasympathetic nervous system, telling it everything's okay. That's how nutrition works. Nutrition tells the body and the brain that everything's okay, that it can expend its resources on building because there's plenty of raw materials. That's why supplements are so important. They tell the body, the brain, via the blood, that there's plenty of nutrition. Everything's good. It's all right. We're hacking into our biology with our nutrition, or we can hack into our biology with our brain and with our mind. Self-hypnosis, massage, lightly touching your hand. We talked about all these on Friday. Yawning, muscle relaxation. All of these are ways to tell the brain everything is okay. There are ways that we can hack into the parasympathetic nervous system. We can use the mind to counteract the mind. That's called mindfulness, by the way. And it's being recognized more and more by medical professionals that it's serious stuff. It's not just something airy-fairy. It's been in Eastern religions for millennia, mystical Christianity, guys like Meister Eckhart, Ignatius Loyola, Teresa of Avila, they all talked about meditation. There's mystical Judaism, there's mystical Islam, Sufism. And these days, these same ideas, meditation, mindfulness, relaxation,